So guys, I'm going to jump on live here. I've just got out of the shower, so I don't have any crypto t-shirts on. But this is another pretty good looking candle here. Now obviously we're starting to get extended on the 5 minute. And we are now approaching the long-term log downtrend line. So we'll just zoom out and I'll show that to you. Here, that number of touch points. We've been watching this for weeks and weeks, guys. I've been away on my honeymoon, as I said, so I didn't do technical analysis this weekend, but this is the cycle bracket. This is when we were looking for it to bottom. It bottomed right on time. We're getting this push higher from this bracket. You know, in the terms of things on the daily, there's plenty of room to run. On a 4-hour chart, we've still got room to run here. You know, technically, is it set up for this to reject and get a pullback on a 4-hour? Maybe that would still be fine. It would still be bullish long term. But let's just zoom in here and watch the 5 minutes. So the 5 minutes up to 85 here on the RSI. So we've just started a new 5 minute candle. Again, that's just massive volume. Let's zoom out and compare that. So similar to a few of these other. How many times have I said that we tend to get this action around US Open? So it's 8:40 at night here in Australia. This is when the US is waking up and positioning their accounts. So g'day guys. Yeah, plenty of people tuning in. Indianapolis, US. G'day bloke. Hey guys. Yeah, it's great to see crypto alive and well. So let's have a look at ETH. So this time ETH is lagging. So I wouldn't be surprised if this plays catch up in a second, but ETH has, already broken this long-term log downtrend line, which is the line you can see here. I'll just refresh that, sorry guys. And Litecoin hasn't broken its high yet. So, these have been leading. These have been a lot stronger than Bitcoin over the past few days. As we see that bracket pushing up there on Litecoin. And the same for ETH here, pushing up. And that's broken its long-term. That was the first downtrend we're looking at. And this is the log downtrend that we're looking at. So Ethereum's broken that now. And Bitcoin is right there at around 8,500. So good volume coming in again. We're really extended. So this would be, there we go. That's it. We need good volume to continue to push this through. But guys, we're so extended on the 5 minute now. 88 on the 5 minute RSI, and there's 8,500 blown through that in a heartbeat. It's exciting to watch, particularly when this was, what I was accustomed to for years. They say don't watch the charts, but I have been watching the charts very closely for 6 years. When I was working in the pharmacy, have it in between. Other tabs open and whatever, constantly checking the Bitcoin chart. And this is what made me fall in love with Bitcoin. The fact that, you just don't ever see this in the stock market. When you see these huge moves out of nowhere. And again, I'm not too sure. I'll have a flick through just quickly now to look for some fundamental news. But I think this is all just technical. And this is just... Someone was saying to me the other day, why is this happening? And I said, well... there's not always a reason. Sure, news push the market around sometimes, but sometimes after we've been in a downtrend, it's just the fact that there's been so many good news announcements at some stage they overwhelm the negative sentiment and markets are turning bullish again. So we'll just quickly have a look at the shorts, because every now and again these have started to be built up and there's definitely been some slamming of those. As I said the other day in that video, in the overnight sessions, particularly when the US is asleep. So they haven't built up anywhere near as high as they were, but there's still plenty of short positions on. So what we want to see now on a 5-minute candle or a 15-minute, we do need this to cool off at some stage. It can run, 15-minute can get up into the high 90s on the RSI here. This can get a lot further, but what we want now is a retest. We want this to come down and pull back on low volume, so far lower volume than this big green candle. Set a nice base, you know, it can muck around here for as long as it wants really, as long as this holds as support, and then we'd want another leg higher. So plenty of time left. I love these Friday night sessions. They tend to be when we get these knee-jerk reactions, when the market's been churning away all week and digesting good news and bad news, and technically we're in this sort of rising wedge pattern, you know, getting tighter and tighter, and then something's got to give and we break to the upside. So I'll just flick through the news here. As I said, I don't think this is news related at all, guys. I think this is just Bitcoin doing its thing. So I'll take some comments now. I'll check through here. Is this a bull trap? So, you know, depends on what style of trader you are. Some people are really waiting, as I've said a number of times, for this downtrend to be proven to be over, and until proven otherwise, everything is just a bull trap. But look, I think we saw the bottom at 6,000, 5,900, whatever it was. I was sort of averaging down and getting into my swing positions. Let's have a look at those now. So again, Amici-Go, a lot of these other coins aren't really... Oh, IOTA, there's my swing position. This one's going really well now. You know, this was massively in the red. Even since the start of the day, this one's already up. Let's have a look. 20-odd%. So yeah, there's good coins out there, but at the moment, it looks like Bitcoin is leading the charge, at least from Ethereum and Litecoin at this stage. But no doubt that baton gets passed, as I've said a number of times, and the leaders will change hands. So some people are looking at the other downtrend. I'm looking at the log downtrend, which hasn't been broken until right now. So this is the log exponential scale, which has a number of more touch points. I know a few people were looking at this other downtrend as well, which got broken last week. Let's just zoom back in there. Okay, so I don't think it's any particular news, guys. Yeah, I love checking. Look, where do I go for news? So I've got a number of sites, but I always go to Twitter. I've got a good range of people I follow. Daily news. I've done a video on where I like to get my daily news from. All the Reddits, you know, Zero Hedge, CoinDesk, Cointelegraph. So plenty of room to run. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. So VeChain's had an amazing run as well. I'll bring that up. So since we spoke about VeChain last, I think it was only a few days ago, you know, it's gone from $2 to $4 in the past 2 weeks since its bottom. So there's some amazing runs in altcoins, guys. I'm sure plenty of you are aware of that. After it's been nothing but a bloodbath, and they've still got a long way to go to get back to some of their heights. You know, a lot of these were down 90%. So technically, guys, let's zoom out and take another look at where we're at, bigger picture, while this just consolidates. This bracket's pushing up until, you know, in a perfect world, we want it to continue pushing up until at least the 25th. I promise that the time cycle brackets and how they work and what I'm looking for, that's going to be a full video for itself very soon. On the daily chart here, we've got that 200 day moving average at about 9,800 there as well. So that'll be another good point to get to before we're going to need to take a breather at some stage. So we want this to continue up. We shouldn't see any real pullback or consolidation until the 4th of May here. So it can chop. It's going to need to take a breather if it gets extended. But as I said, there is room to run. So it's not as if we're, overextended on the RSI here. We need to take a break, or we need to take a break. So there's plenty of room to run. So much chopping and digesting of news, and is crypto dead? So people are going to be coming back to the market. As I said, this is a really positive sign, because there's a lot of people that are on the sidelines. You talk to a lot of traders and they're saying, look, I'm waiting to see what happens at this long-term log down trend line, and I'm waiting for crypto to clear these levels. And I think just the psychological number, the point that everyone will be convinced that this is behind us, is once we get above 10,000 again, US dollars. So we're still a ways away from there yet, but we know this is Bitcoin. We went from under 7,000, that $1,000 move in a day. So we need to consider that, and I think that's the sort of thing that's very possible in the next week, if there's no bad news. So as I said, the only real bad news is that regulation worries. And more people are realizing that it doesn't really matter who does what in terms of regulation. So we've had that cool off period. Let's see, that was a really low volume there compared to the bull move. Let's see if we can get another leg higher here. Now we've had that chance to cool off. So what I was saying, guys, is I think more and more people are realizing that you can't, you can regulate the on-ramps and off-ramps, but you can't regulate Bitcoin. It's a decentralized currency. Anyone with a computing power or device of any type can run a node. Now, how do you make that illegal? How do you make zeros and ones, a software, a program, illegal? There's always going to be one country that embraces it. We're already seeing those countries where people want to move. So many people saying, they're starting to see all these real world projects, ICOs, Ethereum, all these smart minds start to build on top of it, as well as all the other platforms, all the other coins, all the other projects in general that are starting to do exciting things, and they're starting to get mainstream media coverage. Yes, they're being picky. The articles I read are definitely about specific industries or certain things. They're not covering other types of coins, but it's coverage nonetheless. As I said the other day, even the Verge partnership, love or hate Verge, it was in the media. It was everywhere. It's just ingraining crypto in people's minds. So we've got about 240 watching here, guys. Please hit that like button. That gets these videos out there for people to tune in. It's funny how I'd like to think that we've got a subscriber base that loves crypto and that's here for the fundamentals that we harp on about, and the view count on the videos, and that it has dropped off, but not as much as other channels. So some of these big channels with 100,000 subscribers, some of their videos have only been getting 2,000 or 3,000 views lately. So 2 or 3% of their audience are watching these videos because they had all these clickbaity titles, 10 altcoins to get you rich, which coin is going to the moon next, this coin will get you a Lambo, that sort of thing. So if you're here, the majority of you, I know, yes, we're here to make money, we're here to pick good coins for the long run, but it's definitely people that are focused on the technology that I've noticed are still here. They're the ones that are coming back. They're the ones that are confident crypto's not dead, and they're accumulating their favorite altcoins. As I said the other day, and a number of times, I just didn't see Bitcoin going to $3,000 or $4,000 because altcoins would have been down 99% at that stage if they kept that correlation. And the fact is that the market spoke. The market stepped in and said these altcoins are getting too cheap now, and look at those violent moves. I think I said the other day that swing position I had to free up some capital for my margin account because I already got down to $1, but I was confident that it would quickly bounce back over my initial buy price in the mid $1 range, and now all of a sudden quickly this position's 20% in the green, in the profit on a margin trade. So keep those trades alive, guys, if you can. If you stick to your trading rules and you're going small with positions and not over leveraging yourself, you've got that sort of wiggle room to sit patiently on your hands for a couple of weeks if you need be for these swing trades, because when they go, the good coins are going to go hard, they're going to go fast. Yeah, we always try to be open and transparent. We don't do paid reviews. We're looking to do a lot of more tours and that sort of thing, guys. So I want to get around Australia to Darwin and Canberra, a few of the other cities I haven't been to as much. We're going back to Perth soon. I want to start touring with some of the good projects. So a lot of the little startups we're meeting in Australia, it's just crazy how many that you meet. Yeah, there's a lot of average ones and ones that I won't be doing videos about, but it's actually the number that we talk to compared to the number that are good was surprisingly high, the percentage. So maybe we'll do some tours with a few more of those projects, have a beer with them, meet the team. I'm going to a lot of these corporate events. They're all suits, they're all shirt and tie. It's very formal. You sit down, you listen to them speak, and you go home an hour later. I think with our follower base and the community style that we're building, we want to go and actually meet these projects, get to know them, social situation. I think they'll enjoy it more. I think you guys will enjoy it more. So let me know what you think about that if you'd be keen to come along. ERC20 tokens are riding the coattails of ETH. Yeah, that's true to some degree, but again, there's some very bad ones out there that aren't riding the coattails at all. Privacy coins. There's some good ones and there's some bad ones. So I think the good ones will have a good year. At some stage, again, governments will try and push back against privacy coins. How do you push back against software? That's always my question. You can push back against the on-ramps and off-ramps, the exchanges and that sort of thing. But the other day we saw an article about the huge volumes that local Bitcoins are having, where it's the peer-to-peer exchange. So if all exchanges shut down, there's still going to be people, individuals that you can buy Bitcoin off. Maybe they'll get their bank account shut down, but then they can start using, Tether, MakerDAI, Haven, Nomans. There's so many other stable coins that have been worked on. So people can have, virtual fiat, or however you want to think about it, virtual bank accounts where all your wealth is in a stable coin on a hardware wallet stored away safely. So you're making banks more and more irrelevant, not needing to go to fiat as such. So Bitcoin's setting up a bit of a, this could be a nice bull flag here. This could be another test. Again, I'm not too fussed even if we fail here and we break down. As long as the volume's not big, we're fairly extended on, the 4 hour. It doesn't matter if we take a breather for a few days and we start this rally again next week. But with everything that's happening, the positive in the space, it's been such a feel good week. And sometimes people say, I posted this morning in my group that there's a big move coming in the next 12 hours, probably tonight at US Open, when we see these moves. People say, how do you know that? And sometimes it's a gut feel just from watching the charts for 6 years and being in crypto, and you feel the sentiment shifting, and the titles of the articles on CoinDesk and Cointelegraph, the sentiment across a Reddit, as well as, maybe the technicals, are lining up. But, a lot of the time this sort of pattern breaks to the downside, as we've seen in the past a lot. So, these here, all sort of breaking down each time. And this one breaks to the upside. So sometimes it's hard to explain the gut feeling and why I think something's going up. But I just think the sentiment and the general feeling in the community is kind of shifting to a more positive feel. I hope this is streaming properly, guys. So I did upgrade my computer the other day, so I'm really hoping this is streaming really clearly in 1080p as well. Someone's saying there's some Bad reviews on Arbra, I haven't seen those. I know they're still in the early stages in terms of coins and banking partnerships in countries. Trader Pro predicting 12,000 in the near future. There's so many big predictions out there. Nobody really knows what's going to happen and what price we'll get to in the long term. 2 years ago, no one really would have predicted 20,000 being realistic. I guess the point is anything can happen, but in terms of as long as there's not a huge global pushback from governments and regulations, and we've already seen the G20 basically say, look, we're looking to sort of stamp out the scams, we want to regulate, we want to build frameworks, we don't want to stifle innovation. That's kind of the take of world governments at the moment as a whole. And that's probably the only thing that I really see crypto going permanently down in a bear market. As long as more people continue to use it, adopt it, I still think the general trend is going to be higher. Now, we don't know those exact numbers. We have to use technical analysis. All these other metrics, take it one step at a time, but exponential growth is certainly possible. Unlike the stock market isn't going to go up tenfold in a year, whereas it's still possible in the crypto space. Someone laughing at gut feeling. Yeah. You don't have to. People have their own methods. Some people don't put any weight in technical analysis. Some people don't believe, all these different styles. Everyone has a different style. Whatever works for you, whatever you want to believe, guys. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Would I reshuffle my top 10 underrated coins for 2018? That's a really good question. I'm still really happy with those coins. I think BAT, so Brave Browser, the BAT token I added to my portfolio the other day, I think that is a seriously a disruptor. So in terms, as I spoke about the other day, if you guys caught that video, in terms of everything that's happening in the space, in the news headlines about advertising and people paying money for your attention, for your eyeballs, how many of these business models you don't think about? How do Facebook make money? How does Instagram, how do all these companies make money if they're not charging you for these free social medias that we live our lives on? And it's for your attention and your personal data or details. That is going to be one of the biggest paradigm shifts in our lifetime, I think, when we start to have power of our own data and information, attention. Some people, maybe they don't want to pay a cent per minute on YouTube. I'm not sure, whatever the fair price is, but content creators at some stage, some people will very much value their privacy in the future. Since I downloaded the Brave browser and did that video, I haven't stopped using it. It's just such a cool browser. I don't use it that often on this computer. I normally do most of my research on my MacBook here. But on my MacBook, I've only been using it for a few months, and it's already saved me 45 minutes of waiting time, 19,000 ads blocked, 31,000 trackers blocked. It's very useful. I highly recommend you use it. I've got to watch that Brave. Sorry guys, I'll get back. Watch that Brave fundamental analysis style video I did. I really recommend you check that out. Yeah, the Dow Jones partnership I spoke about yesterday as well. So this could be setting up for what we want, guys. We've had that sort of 3 candles, letting the RSI cool off. It was up at an 89, back down in the 70s. Maybe setting up for that other leg higher here. Not that we need it to happen, but I'd love for it to happen live while we're doing this. So yeah, it's funny the weekend and what people think about the weekend. So it ebbs and flows, and this is similar to what I was saying the other day about the Binance token burn. Buy the rumor, sell the news. The first 2 times Binance had a token burn, it had a big run up in price, and the third time was when everyone really caught on that when Binance banned tokens, it goes up in price. And when it happened, it actually goes down in price because everyone's already aware of that. They've priced that in with that global consciousness that I talk about. What's everyone else thinking about? And that's very similar to what we hear and see in weekend trading. So if there's 3 weekends in a row when crypto sells off on a Sunday, and in Australia it tends to be Monday mornings when it's Sunday night in the US and Europe and the rest of the world, the majority of trading volume sort of where it comes from. And then everyone will go, crypto goes down every Sunday. And then that 4th Sunday when people blindly put trades on it without looking at anything else because they think crypto goes down every Sunday, it'll do the opposite. And that's why you've got to be aware, and why I like to have an understanding of all the different types of technical analysis. I'm not a master of any of those, but have that understanding. Put a lot of weight in sentiment. Have a feeling of what happens in the crypto space as well. Don't just ever act on, this happens every time this happens. It doesn't work that way, and it might work well 3 times in a row, and then the 4th time you get burnt badly and you're back to break even. So the new website, we've had some demos come through the other day. We're hoping that'll be ready in a couple of weeks. More content, more updates, hopefully everything bundled in the one spot, as well as more of our community channels and all that sort of thing, all integrated into one. Brave referral link. Yeah, guys, in that Brave browser, Brave fundamental analysis that I did put a referral link there. I think at the moment, if you use referral links, or even if you just create a new account, I think you get free 2-year membership to MarketWatch and a lot of those premium services. So definitely worth checking out. How is Brave better than ad blocker? Yeah, watch the Brave fundamental analysis. It's a lot different. Does crypto follow trends year on year? E.g., as I just said, does it go around every January? That is exactly what I just talked about. Maybe it does. Maybe it's a coincidence. People put trades on, then it doesn't happen the next January. So good websites to learn about the technology and not just about coins and crypto. So Andreas Antonopoulos is probably the best YouTuber in terms of talking about the technology. Jimmy Song talks a lot about Bitcoin technology. There's so many channels out there that'll talk about and pump up coins. There's very few that talk about the technology and understand the technology. There's lots of people that have jumped on board since the huge run up last year in alts as well. So guys, be selective and just be careful with who you follow. The more the merrier. You want extreme opinions. You want Bitcoin's bad, you want Bitcoin's good, and you want to form your own opinions. Power Ledger has to be primed for an upwards push. I think Power Ledger is performing just as well as all the other alts at the moment, in a good way. Can Facebook, YouTube, Google create their own coins? They can, but the problem with that is centralization. So if Facebook create a coin after everything that's happened lately, people got a bad taste in their mouth. Why would I use Facebook coin? When would I ever use that as a method of payment? If they say, the only way you can use Facebook is with Facebook coin. Well, Facebook's free. Every coin has to have a real world use case. So, I always ask myself, when we ask these projects, when we meet them, what real world problem are you solving? That's the first question I'll ask them. if Facebook create their coin, who's going to run all those nodes? Bitcoin and Ethereum have got hundreds of thousands of nodes around the world. The network can't be stopped. If the power goes out, if the internet goes down, as long as there's one little node running out in the outback of Australia with a little solar panel, you know, that can reboot the entire network. Who's going to run Facebook nodes for the love of Facebook? Maybe they have all their servers running it. That's just a target to get hacked, the same as we see centralized hacks in the news all the time. So yeah, it's definitely possible for all these centralized companies to have ICOs, to have their own coin. You know, we've seen it with Telegram a bit. Has that been overhyped? Would I participate in an ICO that was raising over $1 billion? I don't see that as being a good chance to get good return on capital. No. Ask yourself all those questions. Yes, a lot of social media and everything. It's going to be, no one wants to move because everyone's on Facebook. But maybe if we have a great decentralized platform, more and more people will use it. So let's have a flick through the other charts while we watch. Okay, so this is what we were missing just before when we flicked through. You know, ETH hadn't broken its old highs, and now it's getting up there. And I think I put out a tweet when ETH was, or even in the technical analysis, you know, not that long ago, Ethereum was down in the 300s, and I said people are going to wish that they bought more here, because look at how many apps in the top 100 or 200 are all ERC20 tokens. Ethereum is going to have a huge demand. Is it going to lose market share like Bitcoin? Bitcoin dominance was at 90% and more altcoins came along, you know, but Bitcoin still continued to grow. It just lost that percentage dominance. Is Ethereum going to lose its percentage dominance as more platforms continue to grow? Yes, of course. You know, Neo, NEM, you know, the list goes on. EOS in the future. But does that mean that Ethereum's not going to be the number one by a mile still and continue to grow? I think the answer, at least for the short and mid-term, is yes. Maybe in the long term, something else overtakes it. But a lot of these projects are still 12 months away from, you know, really dominating. And all these developers that are working on ETH, it's why it's my biggest holding still. So Litecoin, a long way from catching up here to where it's been. You know, it feels like so long ago Litecoin was at $100, but here we are. I think this one's going to go fast when it goes. Bitcoin Cash, a lot of people were claiming this one's dead. This is a coin that a lot of people love to hate, but this shows you there's still some love there from, even if it's just from the Bitcoin Cash community. Does this coin have its place? It's going to continue to try and partner with people and try and build a use case. You know, we've had this political debate hundreds of times, but there's people out there, there's companies out there that are using Bitcoin Cash. What percentage that is and how big their community is, you know, that the jury's still out. Time will tell. Amisi Go, you guys know how much I love this one. This is just such long-term support. If we go back on the charts, how many times have we got down here to this sort of support level? And as I said, my targets for this one are much, much higher. I don't like to give numbers, but towards the end of the year, if they continue to build those relationships, they'll have a real world use case with people paying, you know, Thailand, McDonald's, all those sort of things. Vitalik's favorite coin, you know, you don't need to say more. Funfair, I love this one as well. I think it got down to under 3 cents the other day, back up to 4.5 cents here. You know, all these coins are listed on Bitfinex, are going to see big volume when the market recovers. And DGX, what this one get up to $600. You know, gold-backed coin. They've launched the DGX token, the actual gold-backed token, and this is the governance token, I guess. Golem had a massive spike the other day. Oh, this is data from Bittrex. So they launched the Brass Golem mainnet, decentralized computing. Check out that other decentralized computing video. I had such a good time today researching all the latest cutting edge stuff about decentralized computing, cloud computing, fog computing. Golem's a fantastic project. They've launched the Brass Golem net. Check out the iExec project that are building decentralized cloud computing for apps and that as well. IOTA breaking out again as we speak. So this is that swing trade I've had on. It was massively in the red and I was averaging down, but now we're away and we're back into profit there. Neo, I think I said at the time, you know, I don't see Neo staying around $50 for long. It's had this incredible bounce. NAM, a lot of people were, you know, worried because NAM really had been a poor performer. Now, this is a coin I love. I'm the NAM ambassador for Tasmania, my home state. We have meetups. We talk about NAM. This is a professional blockchain, but we've been waiting for Catapult, and we've finally released that, you know, to developers. They've got that software development kit. We're waiting for the full-on public release of Catapult. Hopefully it allows you to do a lot of things in a very simple way with the user interface. So this one's you know, up 100% off its lows as well, like a lot of coins. 0x, one of my favorites. I think so many protocols are going to be built on this as we move to all the decentralized exchanges and everything in the future. Wow, this is up nearly 200% from its bottom. EOS, we had that the first airdrop, so we did get that big run up. Bit of a consolidation, but again, going higher. If EOS does those airdrops for every project and uses that war chest of Ethereum they've built up to fund projects, that's kind of what they're talking about. You know, that's going to be pretty popular and a good reason to hold EOS. Again, I'm waiting to see how this the nodes are working and how they're elected, if it's going to be truly decentralized or if there's big corporations that can buy those block producers off block one. You know, I'm waiting to see how all that plays out and how they get elected. I hope we get one here in Australia with the EOS for you guys. Ripple, again, another coin that everyone loves to hate. This has done really well. Again, up 100% off its lows, but that XRP token needs a use case. We need the banks to actually use that coin. It's one thing to use Ripple and partner with the technology. It's another to use the XRP token and actually give it intrinsic value. VeChain we touched on, incredible project. I've done fundamental analysis on that. Verge is having a bounce here after that big run up into the hype and a huge sell off. Power Ledger, what do we get down to here? 24 cents. Incredibly cheap in my mind, guys. Power Ledger was up over $2. If anything, they've continued to have good developments and partnerships during this bear market, and it's one of those coins that surprises me how it just trades with correlation to the altcoin market when it's a premium coin. Cardano, no. One that I want to cover more. Again, I'm just waiting for more developments. I think this one got ahead of itself, guys, and even those of you that got into Cardano very early will probably say that, yeah, this at one stage this was just way ahead of its current development, and that's okay. It happens in the crypto space. I think this one's going to do really well, and there's lots of potential. I want to get as much information about the future in the mainnet before I do more analysis on it, basically. Walton Chain, I love this one. This got seriously overheated here, $47 and a huge pullback. I think I bought this one at $2 or $4 when we covered it on the channel. Look, everything pulled back in a very similar fashion. These are the sort of projects, and hopefully every project I covered on my channel that I believe has good fundamentals, hopefully they're the ones that the mainstream are going to pick up on, especially institutions, high net worth individuals. That's the ones that we want them investing in. Okay, so we'll go back to log. So I've been chatting for half an hour now, guys. I'm not sure if you guys are enjoying this. There's 281 watching. Hit that like button if you are enjoying this, guys. Will the next Bitcoin run kill altcoins? So last year we had huge runs in Bitcoin. People, you know, Bitcoin got to $3,000 or $4,000. People thought, wow, I can't believe Bitcoin's got there from $1,000. I've missed out. And then there was the, you know, that run of altcoins. Then there was the, oh, Bitcoin's dead, the Bitcoin Cash hard fork debate. As I said, pick good coins, be patient, have a diversified portfolio. The baton is going to change hands. I think if Bitcoin can get the Lightning Network successful and build up that node count, prove that it can be decentralized with its channels and all that sort of thing, I think Bitcoin dominance is going to really surprise people again. And maybe it doesn't have to... How am I going to explain this? So what I see happening this year is that bad altcoins get left behind. Now, I'm not going to name any names, but people hate selling. People have this human emotion and psychology makes it very hard to sell something, particularly at an 80 or 90% loss. If you've got an altcoin that's performing poorly, people will sit on their hands and hold that forever until they think, oh, I'll sell it when it gets break even. Now, let me tell you that these bad altcoins are going to drift lower and drift lower until they go to zero. There's thousands of projects out there now. You know, there's going to be a few hundred that succeed at most over the next few years. Some of them haven't even been invented yet, the ones that will probably succeed. So Bitcoin can regain market dominance, and you know, Ethereum, Litecoin, all of these good coins can continue to trade higher, but it's the 90% of 95%, 99%, whatever it is of bad coins that fail that will be dropping and losing market share, and Bitcoin will be gaining that. So that's one thing I see playing out that was very different to last year, when a rising tide floats all ships, and there was some incredibly bad coins out there that had phenomenal runs, and people were telling me, you know, I was talking about the number of coins I'd covered on the channel with fundamental analysis. I think at one stage nearly every coin we'd covered was up 1,000%, and people are going, you know, yeah, but everything is up 1,000%. And the fact was, they're right. A lot of bad coins were up just as much as good coins, and that's what I see changing this year. You know, we've already seen it in the correction that the really good coins have held up better than the really bad coins. The really good coins are already bouncing a lot more in percentage terms off the lows than the really bad coins. And the herd, I talk about the herd and what everyone's doing, and I definitely see that. A majority of people that own a lot of, you know, big bags of these altcoins, and some of them that aren't good projects, they're going to sit on their hands and they're going to hold them forever, hoping they get back to break even. Then they'll have a bounce for a few days and they'll think, oh, it's taken off again. You know, it's very hard. You've got to go through that. And it's certainly something that I learned early on in my, you know, when I got into stocks and options and that sort of thing, that sometimes you've just got to bite the bullet and reshuffle your portfolio. And I do a lot of that stuff with one-on-one people. Vertcoin, great community, GPU mining, you know, sometimes the boring coins, you know, and I don't mean that in a bad way, coins that do basic functions and they do them really well, they've got a community, people that want GPU mining, that community loves Vertcoin, and your community's loving their coin is very important. You know, they tell their friends, that community grows as they tell their friends and so on. So yeah, as I said, I don't own any, but there's a number of good coins that you can't own everything, and at the moment I want to own coins in different industries and that sort of thing. So you're basically saying we're on the way to Banana Town. There's some serious characters in the crypto space, guys, and it honestly makes me laugh. Some of these memes, and the reason it's so funny was back in the day it was very, you know, tech focused, and the Reddits and everything was very boring. There was occasional posts when the price went up a lot, but you know, these days you go to the big Reddits when the price is going up and it's just filled with memes and banter. Very different to how, I guess, boring and tech focused, you know, the Ethereum Reddit was, particularly in the early days. There's a few projects that I'm going to cover soon that are really trying to break down the barriers to get into securities and get high net worth individuals into crypto in a safe way where they're not the custodians, and that's what we need to change. XFin, I haven't seen it, guys. So one of my, not pet hates, but something that makes our life hard is when we get hundreds of messages. So we've got a Nuggets News Facebook page. I'll bring that up, guys. So we do have our Crypto Academy That is full at the moment. We're gradually letting more people in. But this is our public page, so you can shoot us a message or support at nuggetsnews.com.au there. We get a lot of these requests and people asking us to cover certain coins and all that sort of thing. And we don't do paid reviews. You guys know that. But what makes our life easier is people saying, oh, what do you think of this coin? It does this, this, and this. It's solving this problem. Whereas, yeah, one of my pet hates is when people say thoughts on this coin. And, you know, there's thousands of coins out there. It's impossible to know them all. Yeah, that's why we're Facebook boo. That's what someone's saying. Yeah, we're trying to move away from Facebook with a new website. So yeah, we have 1,500 members in our academy. It's been capped for a few months. We're hoping to let in more people once we build a new website. Memes are going to explode this year. Dogecoin, as I just said, basic coin, hasn't upgraded its code for years, but it does one thing well and people trust it. Elastos, one that people have been asking me to cover. There's so many good coins on my to-do list. Yeah, I do use Steam a lot, guys. The fact is I don't get any love over there, to be honest. I know it started off to decentralize things, but the fact is the big YouTubers post and they make $50 or $100 per video. You know, some videos get a few dollars, some videos I don't get anything. So I've got a link in the description to my Twitter and Steam it and the podcast. If you guys prefer a podcast style format, we turn all our videos into podcasts. I'm happy to wind this up, guys, but I don't want to. I've just got a feeling that we're about to break higher now this is cooled off. And no doubt, as soon as I end the live stream, we will break higher. Hacking the White Hat's payment token. Yeah, so the White Hat hackers have done a number of good things over the years, getting people's funds back. I'm working on an episode, guys, about is Ethereum going to hard fork again? What are the Ethereum improvement proposals, the ERPs that they're going to incorporate? Hate announcements about announcements. Yeah, I do. I certainly do. I think this is organic, to be honest. I think this price suppression and some of the volatility and manipulation we're seeing is people trying to, some of the powers that be trying to push crypto lower and accumulate because they know that there's a bull run approaching. They know that a lot of these technologies are, you know, fantastic, and they're trying to accumulate more. So Populous is another good coin for invoicing and that sort of thing. One of the admins in Crypto Australia told me about that very early on when I think it was like a cent and it got to $1 or $3, whatever it did. It did absolutely huge. But I'm sure you guys have heard that story 100 times where someone tells you about a coin and it's the survivor bias, I guess, where everyone's got a good story and everyone's got a bad story, but they don't tell you those. People tell you about the good ones. So it creates that FOMO and everyone feels like they've missed out. But there's plenty of you doing the really good things out there. Crypto to Crypto is a taxable event in Australia. I watched the talk with the ATO the other night. They're looking for feedback. Today's the last day to fill out that ATO feedback form. I'm hoping to become a community advisor of some sort, maybe to ADO and ADCAR to help build some regulations around ICOs, because I think the current laws, I think they could be definitely improved. That's just my personal feelings. Puts a lot of work back on them, and it puts a lot of work back on you guys in terms of managing all your trades and everything. Some people say CoinSpot isn't an exchange. I did a video about that, and because of the altcoins, they're a broker where they have to buy the big coins off other US exchanges to get liquidity, to get lots of coins for you to buy. So yes, they are an exchange because they literally have order books for you to exchange directly with other people. For a number of coins now, they've opened that up. It used to just be Bitcoin and Litecoin and ETH, I think. You can now deposit all your ETH there and ERC20 tokens as well. So they've opened that up. You know, I think they just experienced trade volumes declining, customers complaining about high fees. So CoinSpot have really tried to improve the customer experience. So when people say it's not an exchange, they mean it's a broker in some ways, and that's why they tend to have high fees, because they've got to buy the coins and then sell them to you. So that's why it won't be the same rate as, you know, Bitrex or Binance or whatever that have their own liquidity. Well, guys, we're breaking down. Look, it's all still pretty bullish here. I'll wind this up. What we want is this to consolidate, and testing this a couple of times would be a perfect scenario before another leg higher. But if we fail, we'd be looking for big volume in the, you know, these bearish candles to pick up the volume and outdo this bullish setup here. But that doesn't look like it's the case at the moment. It's been a fantastic week. First time in a while that we've just had that good feeling. I think that good sentiment. Hopefully you guys agree. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But hit that like button. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Yeah, sorry if this has been a long one, but hopefully it's been good to chat and hang out again. And I will talk to you again soon. Cheers.